Hello everybody, my name is Dylan and welcome to Pacific Sound, a podcast about music and culture in the Pacific. Join my co-host Kara and I as we take you on this behind the scenes journey and find out what is going on musically in this beautiful part of the world. In this episode of Pacific Sound Profiles, my co-host Kara will be joined by Bibao, a music artist from the Solomon Islands. Bibao has quickly made a name for himself in the Pacific music scene and is undoubtedly a rising star. Bibao's songs regularly feature in the Pacific Top 20 music charts, with one of his songs, Your Body, amassing over 3.6 million views on YouTube.
I'm so happy to be joined on Pacific Sound Podcast by Bibao. Thanks for coming on, man. How are you?
I'm good, bro. It's a pleasure to be on the show, brother.
Just so our listeners know who you are, could you tell us a bit about yourself, which part of the Solomon Islands you're from, and where you're currently based?
My government name is Lester Kishina. The full name is Lester Bibao Kishina. So my stage name is from my middle name. My dad's from the western part of the Solomon Islands. He's from Munda, and my mom's from Renda Province, the Polynesians of the Solomon Islands.
Yeah, nice. And you're currently based in Honiara, is that right?
Yeah. I'm living in Gun Hill, Tondai Highway.
That's on the near White River on the western side, yeah?
Yeah, West Honiara.
Now, I know you've been into music, you've since a very young age. When did you realize that you had an interest in music? I
started liking music when I was really young, like listening to the radio. I wanted music when I was in high school. That's when I realized I really wanted to do music.
Yeah, nice. And who were your greatest musical influences growing up?
My influences were my bigger brothers. They play music, they do music too, so back in the day, they would live in our house with their guitars, and sometimes they would jam, and I would come and sit down with them and just, they were like my influences.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite artists from overseas, international artists?
I have a lot of favorite artists. I like Kanye West. I like him. I'm really into hip hop, so most of my favorite artists are hip hop artists. Yeah.
How would you describe your style of music to our listeners out there who are unfamiliar with your work?
My music style is, I don't know how to call it. It's everything that is me, like island and a little bit of hip-hop influence. It's just everything. It's my story and everything.
It's like I guess you could call it kind of like a fusion, yeah?
Yeah. It's like a fusion of everything that I like and I like doing.
Now, you were the first artist to release a hip-hop album in the Solomon Islands. Could you tell us a bit about that album and what inspired you to make it?
Okay, so it was back in 2014. The album was called Pressure on the Pain. It was an album about the daily struggles that I see as a young boy growing up in Honiara town. That's why I call it Pressure on the Pain. Yeah, so it's just the story of growing up in Honiara. Yeah.
Your original style is hip-hop, and you're a well-known rapper in the Solomon Islands and especially there in Honiara. Whereas recently you have changed your style a bit. It's you don't rap as much, although there is, you do infuse a bit of hip-hop in with the island reggae and dancehall flavors that you're bringing out now. What made you shift away from hip-hop?
It has to do with the market because, hip-hop it's slow in the islands. Like, not a lot of people listen to it, and not a lot of clubs play it here, and not a lot of shows, hip-hop shows here. So it was like that made me to sort of try to change my approach to music so I can be like marketable in this scene, in this region.
Now, one of your most popular songs, called Your Body, has over 3.6 million views on YouTube and is played nearly everywhere in the Pacific. What was the inspiration behind that song, man?
I don't know. It just came up. I came to the studio to the homie Kazi. He was the one who produced the song, so I came up to Kazi. He was working on this track, so I just like, this is a good track. So I just came up with the lyric and so I think the inspiration behind this is because you can really hear in the song, like it talks about like the Pacific ladies, I think, something like that. So yeah. Inspired by the ladies. Yeah. The title says it.
Title says it all, man.
really see it. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the summer.
Thanks for listening to Pacific Sound. We've had the pleasure of speaking with Bibao from the Solomons. Now, Bibao, how do you approach the creation of a new song? Do you write the lyrics first before listening to the music, or do you prefer to write the lyrics to the music?
Most of the time, I listen to I write the songs to the music, to the beat. So that's how I approach my songwriting. But sometimes I write down lyrics at home when I'm inspired, and I go to the studio and find a beat that fits it, and then I record it.
So I guess you're always on the lookout for new music and different producers, and you're always trying to develop your style, yeah?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Are there a lot of producers in Honiara?
Right now, there's a lot of producers in Honiara. There's a lot of kids coming up that are producing good music, and there's some pioneers that are still going strong in the scene.
No, it's definitely a healthy music scene there in the Solomons, which is excellent. So, apart from Pressure on the Pain, your first hip-hop album that we've already spoken about, have you released any other EPs or albums?
Yes, bro. I've released last year. I've released an EP called Believer, and this year, few months back, 2 months ago, I dropped a mixtape called Waves from the Ripple.
Yeah, nice, man. I love that title, Waves from a Ripple. How did you think that one up, man? Where did that come from?
So Waves from a Ripple, it's similar to something from nothing or something out of nothing. It's just a ripple. It started from a ripple and then it became a wave.
Yeah, it grows bigger.
Yeah.
It's a great mixtape, man. Now, I noticed there's a good variety of music in there.
Yes, there's a good mixture of music in there, from some hip-hop inspired songs to island dancehall music.
Yeah, nice. And where can our listeners listen to your music?
My EP, Believer, you can get it almost on every online store, from Apple to Amazon Music to Spotify.
And Waves from a Ripple?
Waves from the Ripple, you can get it on 4 of the main platforms. You can get it on Spotify, you can get it on iTunes, you can get it on Tidal, and you can get it on Visa. And in the Solomons, you can listen to the mixtape on MJams. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, nice. A brand new streaming app.
Yes, bro.
So what's your plans for the rest of the year? You got any more music in the works, or any little projects that you're working on?
Yeah, bro. I'm planning to drop a few more singles and probably a couple of videos before the year ends.
Now, finally, Bibao, do you have any advice for those who are just starting in the music industry or thinking of getting started? Is there any words of advice you'd like to give out to anybody out there?
The only advice is just don't give up. If you really want to do it, then do it and just have fun. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bibao, for joining us on Pacific Sound. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me on the show.
She got it, and she only needs to sing up, 'cause she got the beat. And I would never wanna leave her. No, I wanna beside me. Wind the waist, girl, wind for me.
Pacific Sound is proudly brought to you by MJam Specific, DTB Audio, your podcast pro, and Warrior Records, One Talk, One Sound. If you want to know more about who we are or listen to previous episodes, go to www.pacificsoundpodcast.com.